everybody. It's me, Timmy Flyersguys, and welcome to another edition of the Flyersguys Top 10. It is officially December 1st, 2025. And in today's episode, I'm not going to get to any Christmas themed episodes yet until late this month. So, in this episode, I'm going to be counting down the top 10 Cartoon Network shows that I watched from 2003 to 2005. Why 2005? Because around 2006 to 2016 or whatever, I stopped watching Cartoon Network around 2006. This is my last year. This is the last year I'm going to talk about Cartoon Network shows that I watched. These are the top 10 Cartoon Network shows that I watched from 2003 to 2005. I was a big fan of the Cartoon Network from 1995 all the way to 2005. Honestly, 2005 was the last hurrah for the Cartoon Network. Well, they did have a good show. They did have a Looney Tunes show in 2012, and that did okay. I actually liked that show, but 2005 was Cartoon Network's last hurrah. It was sort of a farewell tour for good shows, because many years later, a lot of the shows, they weren't that good. But these are the final years that I watched Cartoon Network, from 2003 to 2005. Without further ado, let's get into the countdown. Okay, at number 1, and you know what, I think I'm going to go with a title change here. I know I said I've been doing one of my favorite Cartoon Network shows that I watched from 2003 to 2005. Well, I decided to change that title. And the title of this video will be the top 10 Cartoon Network shows I watched from 2002 to 2005. And starting off at number 10, it's a very unique show called Whatever Happened to Robot Jones. This was a very strange show. I kind of enjoyed watching this show. This was a very unique animated cartoon. And the animation kind of looked like a mixture of Cow and Chicken, the 1970s cartoon. That's what it looked like to me. The animation had similarities between Cow and Chicken and Schoolhouse Rock. Now, the premise of this show, it's about a robot kid that lives alone with humans. He goes to school. He ends up making some friends. He didn't even kind of pick on them. But, I mean, sooner or later they start becoming friends. This was a weird show. And I don't know why I watched it. But I guess when it was on, I guess I just watched it. So number 10, whatever happened to Robot Jones? Let me see if I know this correctly. I gotta check something here. Okay, yeah. At number 9. At number 9. Rurouni Kenshin. This was a show that aired on Tsunami in 2003. Well, it came out around 2002. Well, yeah, I think this came out in 2003. Rurouni Kenshin. It's an anime about. It's an anime that's set in feudal Japan. And it's about this hero. This guy named Kenshin. They give him a nickname, the Manslayer, because he's kind of like. He's kind of like a samurai bounty hunter. Like, he finds people and kills them. And in this anime, he also fights demons. He's a bounty hunter, but he's a bounty hunter with a good heart. He's kind of like an anti-hero, kind of like Walter White in Breaking Bad, except Walter White did not have a sword. And if he even hack people's sword. Rurouni Kenshin was actually a pretty good anime. I actually enjoyed it. A lot of action. I really enjoyed the story. It was just a great anime. It was on Tsunami, and it was truly one of my favorites at the time. So number 9, Rurouni Kenshin. Number 8, yes, I probably had this on my account the other before. The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. I started watching this show and went from their tune back in 2001. Then I really started watching this in 2002 through 2003. And actually beyond, yes. Even on Cartoon Network, kinda, went south in 2006. This was the only show I really watched. I'm not counting that in 2006, I'm counting the show for 2002 and 2003. The premise of this show, you have 3 characters. An angry annoyed little girl named Mandy, and a very, very dumb character as well. And they were friends with the Grim Reaper. They ended up becoming friends with him. You see, the Grim Reaper tries to take their souls at some point. But he fails at it, and he has to become their slave. Or sidekick. This show is a supernatural comedy. A lot of great episodes. A lot of hilarity. This show's great. So at number 8, the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. At number 7, a very controversial show. Not because of the violence, not because of the storylines, but it was a very controversial show because a lot of people hated this show. I watched this. Now, these are not my favorite shows. These are the shows that I watched around this time period. And a lot of people hated Dragon Ball GT because they felt like this wasn't canon. It wasn't part of a series. It was more like a crazy fever dream you would have after drinking too much nitro. I watched this show around 2003. Started watching a few of the episodes around that time. And actually started watching since 2004. And it was okay. It wasn't a bad show, but it wasn't what most Dragon Ball Z fans were used to. And this show got bad ratings. It did not last very long on the Cartoon Network. And some episodes ended up being shown late at night rather than during the day. Because I guess nobody watched this show during the day. But I was the only one that did watch it. You know what? I wanted to give it a chance. That's it. I wanted to give it a chance. So number 7, Dragon Ball GT. At number 6, Codename Kids Next Door. Now, I watched this show from 2003, 2004. This show really ramps up the imagination of kids. This is a great show. It's kind of like the show Recess, cranked up to about 11. This show is about kids who are secret agents trying to protect the world from the adults who are the villains in this show. Whoever came up with this show had a great imagination. I remember watching the show with my nephew Brian, and also watching the show around 2013. And yes, when I watched most of these shows, I was about 16 years old. But I actually enjoyed these shows. I really did. And this was a really good show. You had your James Bond-like character. You had your athletic character. You had your fun-loving green shirted little girl. And you had your sassy, nonsense character. And your comic relief character. This was a great show. I enjoyed the premise. I enjoyed the whole theme of these kids just trying to save the world from the adults that were trying to ruin their playtime. The show was really good. I enjoyed it. It was unique at the time. And I just really enjoyed the action and the story. The villains were hilarious too. The time jump down the road or something. And they were like the bad guys. This was a pretty good show. So at number 6. Oh wait, hold on a second. At number 6, Codename Kids Next Door. Let me check if that was the right one. Okay, number 6. Codename Kids Next Door. Dragon Ball GT was at 7. Codename Kids Next Door. That's 7 Kids on its countdown. At number 5. Camp Lazlo. The show was made from the makers of SpongeBob SquarePants and Rocko's Modern Life. Camp Lazlo is a story about Lazlo, the monkey, his friends, Connor the wildebeest, and Raj the elephant. And there's also a Scoutmaster, and Scoutmaster Olympus. Now this show was actually funny. A lot of the jokes in the show were adult jokes. And with this show, it had a storyline to it. It had the wackiness. It had the SpongeBob, Rocko's Modern Life type wackiness that we were used to in 1993. And they really upped it by 11 with the show. I actually enjoyed this show. The show had some unique episodes. Some episodes where Laszlo becomes friends with a leash. An episode where I forget. There's a lot of episodes on this show. This was a funny show. And when I found out that this would be premiering on Cartoon Fridays, I had to check it out. And I did, and I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed this show. So number 5, Camp Laszlo. And number 4, another weird show, like him partner's a monkey. Another show is about a kid and his pet monkey. And they become gym partners. And the premise of the show is to figure the school for animals. And there are humans that attend this school along with the animals. And hilarity ensues in every episode. I actually enjoyed this. It wasn't a bad show. It wasn't great, but it was okay. So number 4, I can partners a monkey. Number 3, an anime that I was really into. And that anime was Yu Yu Hakusho. Now this show was kind of like Dragon Ball Z. You had the characters that could shoot projectiles out of their hands. Similar to Dragon Ball Z. And Tsunami wanted to capitalize on the success of Dragon Ball Z. They created this new show called Yu Yu Hakusho. This show caught my eye in 2002 when it was shown on Adult Swim. Now this show came out around in the 80s. I heard this show actually started out before Dragon Ball Z. The premise of this show is your character Yusuke. He gets hit by a car. He dies. And he becomes a spirit detective in heaven. But he has to solve crimes. Not just that. The show goes off in a different direction after that. There's 3 more characters. 3 more characters during the show. You have Fullwara. I forget what the one guy's name is. You have this one guy who was like an anti-hero. You have the one guy who throws roses at people. You have the 2 best characters, I think, are Yusuke and this show was really fun to watch. Not just that, another season started to come out. I watched this show on Tsunami in 2003. And during that time, they were showing the Dark Tournament arc. And that was a really good arc. And I can get behind it. I enjoyed watching this show. Unfortunately, I stopped watching it around 2004 into 2000. Because I kind of lost interest in it. But at the time, I liked it. Back in 2002. And 2003, so. And number 4? What number is this? Hold on a second. What number is this? So at number 3, Yu Yu Hakusho. And my number 2 show was Yu Yu Hakusho. Okay. And number 2, Dragon Ball. Now this show came out in 2001. But it really started to catch my interest in 2002, 2001. They just repeated the first season all over again. With a new voice cast and a new dub. The show came out on Toonami in 2001. In 2002, it really started to catch my eye during the Red Ribbon Army Saga. The first arc of the Red Ribbon Army Saga. And I watched this in 2002, episodes in 2003. And then I went back to it in 2003 when the King Piccolo Saga came out. And I really enjoyed that. Not just that when the show went into the last battle with King Piccolo at the end, I watched this in 2003 where Goku as a kid fought King Piccolo. He wanted to get revenge for other people. Goku wanted to get revenge on King Piccolo for all the people he had killed. King Piccolo was a devastating villain at the time. He was the OG villain of the Dragon Ball universe. And he killed everybody. He killed Yamcha. He even killed Master Roshi. And also Tien. That saga, King Piccolo Saga, was one of the best sagas of Dragon Ball. I enjoyed every single minute of that saga. And when you watch that saga, you're rooting for the heroes on it. You're rooting for Goku to win. And this was a very great saga of the series. Dragon Ball regained its popularity. They used to show it back in '96 on Philly 57. And they didn't have rights to the whole series. I think Saban did not have rights to all of the episodes. And they could not show every episode in its entirety. Because some episodes were too violent to show on network television. So Cartoon Network revived the series and made it better. If it wasn't for Cartoon Network, you would not know about Dragon Ball. And this is, there was another dub of Dragon Ball back in 1989. It wasn't the first time Philly 57 showed Dragon Ball. They showed the movie back in 1989 on Philly 57. And that was a Harry Gold dub. And in 96 was the Saban dub. And when Funimation revived it, they made it better. So, and number 2, Dragon Ball. And number 1, finishing off this episode with number 1, we have Dragon Ball Z. Now the origin of Dragon Ball Z goes all the way back to late 1996 when WB Network, PHL 17, showed Dragon Ball Z on TV for the first time. Just like Dragon Ball Z was owned by Saban at that time, and they connected the rights to every episode. So the episode ending partway through the Namek Saga. And then years later, around 97, 98, they showed Dragon Ball Z on Toonami for the first time. Not only that, they would show Dragon Ball Z uncut episodes on Toonami's late night program called the Midnight Run. And they would air a lot of uncut stuff that you would not see during the day. And this is when Funimation picked the show up. Not only that, they showed 3 Dragon Ball Z movies on Toonami. Tree of Light, Dead Zone, Tree of Light, and The World's Strongest. Years later, in 1999, they decided to come out with even more episodes, continuing the Namek saga into the Frieza saga. Not only that, they also had the Early Junior saga in the summer of 2000. In the late 2000s, they had the Android saga. And then in 2002 to 2003, they had the Boo saga. Now, Dragon Ball Z, I started watching this. One of my favorite times to watch Dragon Ball Z was the Boo saga. And this was one of the longest arcs in Dragon Ball Z history. It starts out with Gohan as a high school student. The Boo saga starts out slow, but it gets really good midway through. And around 2002 to 2003, I watched the whole Boo saga in its entirety, even the throwaway season finale episode. I didn't really like that one that much. But this was a fun show. And when the Boo saga came out, it was filled with action. Because day after day, I would wonder if Majin Buu would get killed. If the Z fighters could defeat Majin Buu. And Boo gave him so much trouble. I gotta tell you, despite Majin Buu's look, he was a formidable opponent for the Z fighters. He absolutely destroyed humanity. And the thing about this saga, Boo actually had a good side to him. He befriended Hercule, and he became good. And then the evil came out of Boo. We saw Majin Buu's second form of Super Boo. And just when you thought Boo had been defeated, another form would come out. And it's Kid Boo, the more powerful version of Majin Buu. And he gave the Z fighters one hell of a fight. This arc took 2 years to finish, from 2002 to 2003. And the dreams of Dragon Ball Z wanted to go out with a bang. And they came out with one of the longest sagas ever. And that was the Boo saga. So that's it for your number 1 Dragon Ball Z. Well, that's it for the top 10 Cartoon Network shows that I watched from 2002 to 2005. Guys, thank you for joining me here. Thank you for joining me here at the Flyersguys Top 10. But before I go, I want to tell you about my next episode. for today's edition of the Flyersguys Top 10. Guys, thank you for joining me here on the Flyersguys Top 10. I know I said I'd be doing Christmas episodes late, but I might be doing a few a little early this year. And I'm actually not sure if the next episode's going to be a Christmas episode or whatever it's going to be called. I'm not really sure what it's going to be called. But I was thinking about doing a Christmas themed candy episode where I talk about my favorite Christmas themed candies in this episode, the next episode. I also want to apologize for the title change late in the video. I said it was going to be the first number of shows I watched from 2003 to 2005. But I want it to be a little more accurate. So I changed it to my top 10 Cartoon Network shows that I watched from 2002 to 2005. Guys, thank you for joining me here in this week's episode. It's the holiday season. It's time to get ready for one of my favorite holidays. And that holiday is Christmas. Now, I'm not really sure if the next episode will be a Christmas episode. I might save that for later this month, just to get things going. So I'm definitely going to be counting down my top 10 Christmas countdowns. So I'm just thinking, in my next episode, I'm going to be counting down my top 10 favorite Nickelodeon shows that I watched from, well, I don't really watch Rugrats that much from 91, but I will be counting down my top 10 Nickelodeon shows that I watched from 1992. I think I already counted down Sleep Shorts. I think I already talked about Sleep Shorts. Yeah, I think I already did an episode. I think I did, but I decided really to do the top 10 Nickelodeon shows I watched from 1992 to 1996. Maybe I'll do that. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do. But whatever it is, I'll have it here on the Flyersguys Top 10 on the next episode. So like we already did Cartoon Network, what are we talking about? My favorite Cartoon Network shows. I think I'm going to be counting down my next episode. I'm going to be counting down my top 10 favorite years to be a wrestling fan. That is a great idea for the next episode. So I'm going to do that. My top 10 favorite years to be a wrestling fan. Guys, thank you for joining me here on the Flyersguys Top 10. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Hope everyone has a great week. I'm just going to say it right now. I cannot wait until Christmas.